You guys, are you good? Suave. All right. So the second thing is now you're getting leads, you're getting listings. Where do you run into trouble with listings?
Well, pricing is a big thing. Definitely, hard to get properties priced correctly at times.
Is it
definitely a struggle?
Is it challenging for you to determine the right price, or is it more challenging to convince the sellers to price it at a certain price?
It's more convincing. It's more challenging to get the sellers to emotionally detach from the property and price it correctly. And I've been listening to the presentation plus with the emotional decoupling that we teach, and the different systems, a way to approach that. I've been implementing some of it recently, and it's helpful.
Did it help?
Absolutely. I just recently started using the walking into the house, and I'm glad I had the time for us to meet today.
Excellent. That's a great line.
It is. It was hard for me to use it first, but
it throws them off a little. I'm glad I have found the time for us to meet today. That's how you open your listing presentation. Awesome. That's great.
I used that for the first time the other day. So
it takes balls, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Good on you for you to do it. Excellent. Congrats on that. It's awesome. You're doing fine. Trust me, you're going places. I've been doing this for 20 years. I can tell talent when somebody does have one and you have it. So just stay with me. We'll make this work. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what happens. You have a motivated seller. You set up your listing appointment. Now you sit down with them. How in the world do you talk some sense into these people? Where you do a good job on your presentation, at the end they say, oh, that's great, fantastic, we want 50,000 more. And you go, fuck me, what just we spent an hour going over everything? And,
absolutely.
Right? Has that happened to you?
Yes.
Yeah. And you go, where did I screw up? Well, I'll tell you where you screwed up. Well, not screwed up, that may be a strong word. But I tell you where it gets derailed. It gets derailed in a couple of places. First of all, a lot of other agents screw it up for you because they blow smoke up the seller's ass, telling them all kinds of things that are not true just to get the listing. So that's your first obstacle you got to solve. Okay? It's the competition from all the other fools. But here is where you need to set things right from the beginning. In order for it to work, there are several phases. So this is your first contact when you made with the lead. So let's, for the sake of this exercise, say it's an expired listing. Okay? You made the first contact, and it went pretty well. You had a conversation at their front door, drop off your package. They say, we're not ready quite yet. We have some medical things we want to take care of, some repairs we want to do. Why don't you come back in 60 days? You had conversations like that, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then there's this window. This is the follow-up window. And let's say for this exercise, it's 60 days. It should be around 60, 90 days in most cases, right? Would you say that's about accurate? It fluctuates, I know, but let's just be on average. So now, this is where you set the appointment. That's the point where you set the appointment, where they say, Shauna, we're ready, okay? Then there is a window when the actual appointment takes place. There's one more small step here where you confirm. Confirm the appointment, and then the actual listing presentation. Where again, agents get stuck, where they get screwed is they think the answer is I need to do a better job on the presentation. That is true, but that's only partially the case. The real problem, or the real setup, the real answer to getting better priced listings here is not here, but all the way here. From the very beginning, you're setting up how it's going to go here. So here's what I mean by that. Let me give you some specifics how to make this work. You, from the beginning, need to position yourself and set yourself up as a high status agent, an expert, and not a salesman, not a salesperson. That's number one. So your positioning here will determine how you will be perceived here. Clear so far? Yeah? Okay. So how do you do that? First, there is no needy approach. From the beginning, you're acting like, well, let's see if this is going to work. Let's see if I can help you. Let's see if you would make a good client, and this is a listing I can actually help you sell. Maybe we'll decide to work together. Maybe we'll like each other. Maybe we won't. Instantly differentiator. As opposed to the lines that so many still quote from, what is it, about 1979, Tommy Hopkins introduced. What would it take in order for you to list with me today? Blah! Oh, don't ever do that. Low status, instant neediness. I need your listing more than you need my service. It needs to be equal. You respect the seller. There is never any putting down or insults or any of that. So there's respect, but there is also status. That means you never need. Never, ever. Although, let me do that in multimedia. Since we're broadcasting in HD, never, ever need that listing. But Borino, you don't understand. If I don't get that listing, I don't get my commission. If I don't get my commission, I'm going to get kicked out of my house and I'm going broke. I don't need the money. Nobody cares. Would you go to a dentist because they offer a good deal because they're broke? To an attorney? To a tax advisor? Anybody? Of course not. Who do you want? High status expert. That's who we all want, and we pay gladly money for their service. Yes? So you never need, never low status behavior, ever. No signals of I need the listing, I'm desperate, I'm whatever. So that's your first, most important foundation of it all. If you set this up right, this will be a lot easier. If you screw it up here, this is almost impossible. Because they know here that you need the listing, that they got you by your cojones. And if they don't got you, they got 10 others. And if they realize that all the agents are the same, might as well get the cheapest one. That's why you get the commission objections. People will pay for your service if they see they value, but if they don't, if they see like 10 agents, they're all the same, they say the same things, they do the same things, fuck it, might as well save the money. Get the cheapo. Okay? So set it up right here. Make sure they qualify to you. Make sure they make a good client, they make a good listing. And I know it's hard if you don't have 15, 20 listings, but that's a problem. You got to do what we talked about before, where if you have 5, 6, 7 appointments line up, one is an asshole, no big deal. You send them on their way, they're still nice people, nothing wrong, shake their hand, goodbye. Okay? So that's part one. Part two is in your follow-up. You reinforce that status. You confirm that status. You provide helpful information, there's never any need or pressure, no need to. But it's congruent with your status here. That's part two. And then in part three, you confirm it during your appointment. But it will not work here if these two are not in place. It's going to all fall apart because you're not building it on a solid foundation. And a lot of it has to do with how you feel about yourself. What kind of self-image do you have? One of the things you must be absolutely sold on, and I don't know where I got this from, Shauna. I really don't. But when I started in real estate, I didn't know shit. You know, I had an accent, I was an immigrant, I didn't know anything about the business or anything. But early on, I believed that even though I didn't have all the answers, I was the best thing that could happen to those sellers. That with all these wolves out there and all these incompetent idiots, they are in the best hands and I will take such good care of them, they're lucky to have me. And because I was sold on myself, even as a newer agent, it was much easier to sell the sellers on me. Frankly, I never had to do any selling. They felt it, they believed it. There is no way to really sell it anyway. You know what I mean? If you are convinced that you can get a killer job for them, you will do the best you possibly can, and nobody else out there can do better, you will get listings. If you don't believe that, if you believe, well, you know, there's this guy Joe, and damn, he's really good, and he's driving a Ferrari, and he's listing 100 properties a year, you're screwed. You're going to give it away. Your insecurity will give it away. Your beliefs will give it away. It's a mind game. It's a head game. So that's step one. Then step two is you must be an expert. You cannot fake this part right here. You must be an expert. You must know your market so well. You must know it inside out. So when you talk to the seller, you have an intelligent conversation about the property. You can tell them, well, yeah, you know, your home is quite similar to the one on Oak Street that sold about 2 weeks ago. It was slightly bigger, 300 square foot bigger. It had an extra little addition in the back, but the condition-wise, not as nice as yours. It sold in 67 days. Instant credibility. I don't need to sell myself. I, through providing good information, immediately established. I know my market. I know how to communicate. I'm confident, comfortable, expert. You must do the same thing. Study the market, preview properties, go out there, see what's selling, what's going on. You must know it inside out. It's part of your job. There's no way around it. The good news is it shouldn't take you more than 30, 40 days to really learn the market well enough so that you know what you're talking about. But it does require previewing properties and studying the hot sheets and studying what's going on the market. For example, you must know the answer. You have two properties. Property A And property B, has that ever happened to you, Shauna? 2 identical homes, similar condition, similar location. This sucker sells for $40,000 more. And you're sitting there scratching your head, well, why in the world would pay somebody so much more? Or why did this one sell for so much less? You must know the answers, because if you don't know the answers, and if the seller asks your host, you're done. Your credibility is shot. That's what becoming a market expert is so important. Okay? Now,
Right.
So now we set up the first impression, now we set up the follow-up, now we set up your expertise. The next piece of this puzzle is how you present the actual meeting. There are several things I want to give you. First, use a pre-listing package. Always use a pre-listing package. You guys watching it, if you want a copy of mine, just email me. I will show you what goes into my packet. You will get a preview. I mean, it's really simple. There's a resume, talks a little bit about the benefits to the seller, about me, my company, my history, my past clients, a little bit of a testimonials. Market snapshot, very important. You want to give them an overview of what's going on in the area. Not a CMA, just a big laundry list of all the active listings, all the pendings, all the solds, and all the expireds. Okay, you give that to them in advance. You will still deliver the CMA and talk about it, but this is just including in the package just to kind of satisfy their curiosity, and especially if their expectations are high. This often helps because it kind of prepares them for what's coming. All right? They get some marketing samples, some examples of what you do, how to get the property sold. Boom, you shoot it to them. They get it 2-3 days before your appointment. Then you confirm the appointment. Now, here's the critical part. Where do you do your listing presentations?
Usually at the seller's home. I like to have them come into the office, but it doesn't always work that way. A lot of times I go to the homes.
Do presentations as much as possible in your office. Bring them to your office. I know sometimes circumstances don't allow that. Be flexible, of course. Do what it takes to get the listing. But in most cases, it's absolutely doable. I mean, would the seller come if you tell them, well, you have a check here for $10,000. When do you want to stop by? Oh, they will find the time immediately. You know what I mean? So why not come to list the property? Isn't that worth a lot of money to them? Well, if they perceive your value, if they see you as a high-status expert advisor, yes, they will come. If they think, oh, just another sales schlep, we can skip this one, your host, it's not going to work. Yeah?
Yes.
Do listing presentations in the office. More control. Your environment. We mean business. They're serious and they want closure. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
There's no distractions. There's no television, no pets running around, no kids screaming, nothing. It's business. We mean business. And especially if you set it up in a cool way, you know, nice coffee, some refreshments, your staff, your assistant, helping them. It's an awesome experience for everybody. ¿Está bien?
Yep.
All right. So now let's get to the actual pricing. As you go through the presentation plus, if you follow the outline, you come to the point where you explain to them the emotional decoupling. Sean already mentioned that. The idea behind it, the psychological, this is not a selling technique. I don't teach selling. I'm no good at it. I suck at selling. You guys know that. I never shove my stuff down your throat. But I'm very good at human psychology, what makes people tick. What makes people tick during the presentation is you cut the emotional attachment to the house. Here's why. When you talk to the seller, when you do the presentation, do you think they make logical, rational decision when it comes to selling the house?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. They think they do, and many agents believe they do. So if I only have more CMA data, if I have better comps, or if I had a stronger close, I would get the listing. No, doesn't work that way. People make emotional decisions. It's all driven and fired by emotion. It is explained and rationalized by logic. But logic is not the trigger. It's the emotion that's the trigger. So your first order of business is you must cut the emotions that tie them to the house. And the way you do that is you explain the difference between a home, which is what they're attached to, that means the memories, the life they had there, the blood, sweat, and tears and money they put into it. There's no price tag for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like the example I was showing you earlier, guys, in one of the videos is I had a chain, and it had a little cross on it. It was a gift from my father, and I got it the night before I left Czechoslovakia, before I immigrated first to London and then to the US. And he gave it to me as a token of the connection and the bond and the faith, and it meant the world to me. And I have it to this day. It's upstairs actually in a box locked up because I don't want to lose it. Now, the market value of this thing might be what, $80, $100 at the most. One day I was at the Spectrum Club in Manhattan Beach, in Hermosa Beach, California. I was working out and I forgot it. I forgot it in a locker. And I left it there on the shelf in a private locker. I got home. I thought I was going to get a heart attack. It was about 2 hours later, jammed to the gym, it was there. I was prepared to pay any price on earth that somebody would ask for to get it back. There was no price tag, I would say, no, that's too much. You understand the difference? $200 versus thousands of dollars. They do the same thing with their house. They're emotionally attached to the property. Once you cut the attachment, once you explain to them that a home is becoming a commodity, a house, just like a car, just like stock, it has a very specific price range. There is only very specific price, and that price will do only one of two things. It will either repel buyers or it will attract buyers. The second step to that is you explain to them that they, unfortunately, and you do this with respect, you do this with compassion. You don't need to be an asshole about it or punch them in the face with it. Sometimes it's necessary, but that's the last resort. But what you do is you walk them through the process where the seller really doesn't control the price. I mean, think about it. Do sellers really set the price?
They set the price, they don't determine the value.
They don't determine the price. They can put a listing price on the property, but they will not determine how much it's going to sell for.
Right.
They don't have that control. You as an agent don't have that control. Only two have this control, and that's the buyer and the bank, the lender. That's it. It'll be between the bank and the buyer to decide what this property is going to sell for. The seller's choice is only, yes, I will take it, no thank you. Which means, in other words, we'd rather stay here or we need to move no matter what. You, as a master influencer and a Borino student and a psychology expert in human behavior, need to determine how bad do they want to move, how painful it is for them to stay, and do they entertain, and is it a real possibility? Because if it is, if it's no big deal, if the house doesn't sell, it'll stay here, then you don't have a motivated seller, you're screwed. You don't have a client. You're going to get stuck. Okay?
Yep.
But you need to determine that all up front. So you don't waste all this time following up and working with them. If here, you're going to find out where shit. If it doesn't sell in 5 years, we can stay comfortably here. It's no big deal. As opposed to job transfers coming through in 90 days. We got to get this sucker done. Very different dynamic. All right? So you sever it, number one. Number two, explain to them they don't control the price. We will work together, and that's really the underlying tone of the whole presentation plus. We're in this together. We're a team. I'm here to help. I'm not on the opposing team. I'm not fighting here with you. This is not a negotiation. This is not an argument. This is not arm wrestling. My job is to simply help you make the right decision. And the decision you need to make today is not how much it's going to sell for. That's already set. The decision you need to make is, do you want to move? Would you be better off somewhere else? That's the only decision. If the answer is yes, the price is what the price is. If the answer is no, the price is what the price is. Nobody cares, doesn't matter. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So now, you walk them through these two steps. First, the third and final step is you present to them. If we price it at $450 or more, it's going to sit there. It's not going to sell. It's going to repel buyers. On the contrary, we're going to help other people sell their properties because now their home is going to look like a really good deal. That's not our goal. In order for us to get showings, get buyers, get offers, and get it sold, we need to be below $449. Let's get it done. There's no ambiguity, no hesitation. Will they throw an objection occasionally at you? Will, but Jim down the street sell, we can get $500,000 for it. My favorite question that just completely throws them off is, why would they lie to you? And I would just look them in the eye and let it sit there. And you will get a reaction like, well, what do you mean? I mean, why are they lying? I mean, they have access to the same information I do. So obviously they're not telling you the truth. I mean, even you, without a real estate license, can see the pattern. Homes priced below $450 sell. Home priced above $450 don't sell. It's really simple. You don't need a college degree to figure this out. So why is he lying? He's lying only for two reasons. Either he doesn't know the market well enough, he's not an expert, or he's desperate to get the listing and he wants to tell you what you want to hear and hope that he's going to work you down later. Here's the trap. If he doesn't, he's still going to make money. You know how? He's going to put a sign in your front yard, get some phone calls, sell some properties, make money. You're still stuck here. He makes money. Who wins? I don't think that's fair to you. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not here to pressure you. But wouldn't you be better off pricing where it's going to cause it to sell? And let it sit. That's all you got to do. Don't overthink this. It's not that complicated. If you have the trust and if you have the positioning of an expert, they will believe you, they will trust you. If you don't, then it doesn't matter what you say. Cool?
Yep.
Okay? Now, you must have a point at which you decide, do I want to take overpriced listings? And there really is no simple answer. Yes, I'm telling you, don't take overpriced listings. It's really up to you. If you believe these people need to move, and I'd rather take it 20,000 over and work them down, that's cool. I'm not a big fan of price reductions. It makes you look incompetent. I know the seller said the price, but you're still the jerk. It's still your fault no matter what. Am I right?
Yes, it's a horrible feeling.
And it's bad. And then you have to do the whole thing all over again. So price it well from the very beginning. I would rather walk away if I'm clear these people are not that motivated, they'll be difficult to work with, they're going to nitpick, it's going to be hard. Let them go. Because your willingness to walk away shifts the dynamic. From the power play that they have, we're in control, we got the listing agents want us to, maybe I want to help you, maybe not. What do you want to do? Maybe I'm not your guy. Maybe you should go with him. If that's what you want, if you trust that person, I'm not putting anybody down, but you got to make a rational, logical decision. Is this a logical decision? Do you want to set the price that will not cause it to sell? No. You guys want to move. Price is what the price is. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not going to here mislead you or pretend or lie just to get the listing. I don't need it. I'm here to help. I want to have a client for life. I mean, you look at these and you tell me. Yeah?
Yes.
Now, where does this confidence come from? One, practice, of course. Two, knowing the market well. And some of it will come from experience. You just have to do it a lot until it becomes second nature. Yeah? Here's where your power will come from. If you have 3 or 4 or 5, 6 good listing appointments lined up, you'll be a lot more confident than if you have one a month. If your calendar is empty and you have that one a month, you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to do this listing. Oh, please list me. You know? Don't want to do that. But if you have a bunch of them, and if one is really difficult or not realistic, you can't get through with them, and that will happen sometimes. Be okay with that. It's very powerful if you just tell them, I don't think this is going to work out. Because I don't want to sit here 30 days from now and be the one who says, I told you so. I just don't want to do, I don't think it's fair to you guys. Is that what you guys want? But what if somebody's going to fall in love with it? They will if it's priced right. The first thing going to fall in love with is the price. If the price is off, there'll be no love.
Right.
Just like you guys when you will be looking for a house down in Colorado. If the house is overpriced, would you be interested in seeing it? No, there are plenty of nice homes, even in a hot market. Don't screw this up. Yeah?
Yep.
Questions?
No.
No? You good?
I am, yeah.
Okay. So, just like with everything else, practice this. Set up a little video camera and practice it a few times. Sit down in front of somebody and then get their feedback. They can be a friend or relative or somebody. It doesn't matter. Another agent. And just role play this. It will make you a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident once you got this down. And it shouldn't take too long. This really is not that hard. Your ability to decipher what is really going on. But the trick there is you ask a lot of questions. That's why a lot of the systems I give you guys, like the Presentation Plus and the Expert Plus and the Core Influence and all these, notice that a lot of those dialogues are questions, because those questions will not only help me get clear what is going on in the seller's head, but also it helps them get clear. Because I can't tell you how frustrating it is, and tell me if this happened to you, Sean, or you guys. You go through this process. You find a lead, you work the lead, you get the appointment, you list the property, you get them a great offer, and then they don't take it. And you want to shoot them. You want to just shoot, what's wrong with you? This is a great offer, and they back out. It's again my mistake. I should have known up here. I wasn't clear. I didn't qualify well enough. I didn't understand well enough, or they didn't understand well enough. And it goes back to the emotional attachment to the property. Then they're never going to move. And they're creating artificial obstacles to stall. But you as a master communicator, you need to figure this out. Enough trust needs to be built, obviously, first, where they can be honest with you. Where I had a seller, she was an older lady, you know, she was in the house for like 40-some years. Of course, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of attachments. And it was very hard for her to all of a sudden let go and live in a retirement community, because that would validate the fact that she was old. And nobody wants that. I mean, I'm going to turn 30-something soon, you know, I don't want to admit that. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying? So it's your job to really connect with the seller. And it doesn't take a lot. This is not something you need to sit for hours and your client laying on the couch and you do the Freudian questionnaire. No, it takes few very well-pointed questions that will also reposition you again as an expert. Because you now are probing and inquiring about stuff that most agents don't want to know or don't know how to find out. They don't know the questions to ask. So suddenly you're perceived as not a salesman or a salesperson trying to get a listing, but somebody who cares, who genuinely cares. But that's the trick. Everything we talked about today, must come from the heart. This cannot be faked. That's why I don't teach you canned scripts. That's why I don't teach you these silly closes, none of that stuff. Because it's fake. It sounds fake. And people pick up on it. You pick up on it. It's the same thing. It comes from the heart. Yes, you're rehearsed. You're prepared. You control the conversation. But it's an organic dialogue between two human beings, where you control it by asking the right questions, following up with those questions, going into more details if necessary, and guiding it, and guiding them. And that clarity is priceless, because it's much cheaper, easier, and faster for them and for you to figure out at the beginning than go through the whole thing and figure out at the end. Yeah?
Yep.
Groovy. What else you got?
Let's see, we've covered lead generation, time management, time blocking, pricing. We've covered quite a bit.
That would make you a successful agent if you just did these things, right? Now I know, Borino, come on, you're full of shit. That's easier said than done. I know.
Right.
I know. I never said this is an easy business. I never said this will be easy. But I tell you one thing, it can be highly rewarding. Once you get the hang of it, once you diligently work and focus on stuff you can control. You can control how much you practice. You can control how much you prospect. You can control how much you follow up. You can control how many expireds you go after. FSBOs, leads, how many properties you prove. You have control over that. If you just stay with that, let the rest take care of itself. You focus on you, the stuff you can control. Don't worry about if somebody's rude. Yes, there will be rude people. You got to have some thick skin for this job. That's just the reality of it. People deal with a lot of emotions. They don't know how to deal with them. You happen to show up, boom, they take it up on you. Sometimes it happens. You dust yourself off, you shake it off, you just keep going. Because the choice you're going to make, and it's going to happen, is, remember that 80,000 we had up here? Do I want this or not? Because if I quit now, or if I cut back, if I just go for distractions rather than what's important and what's productive, I'm pushing that away. That's the choice you got to make. So it's not going to be easy, but very rewarding. Here's when. Forget 80,000. What if you could make 200,000, 300,000, 400,000? Is it doable? Do you honestly, Shauna, believe, and you guys watching this, that it's within your reach?
Oh, I do.
Why not? I mean, what would be holding you back? Do you have the answer? Because I do. But I want to hear yours first.
No, I don't think anything's holding me back. Diligence to practice.
It's your mind. That's the only thing that will get in the way. Is there enough business around you? Absolutely. Are there other agents making hundreds of thousands of dollars around you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, of course. They drive nice cars. They wear nice clothes. They have staff taking care of all that shitty work. They golf on the weekend, go on the boat, go on vacations with the family, right?
Right.
So the only thing stopping you will be your mind, the beliefs you carry around. It's too hard. I'm not cut out for this. There's not enough business. Money's hard to come by. And the reason I know all these things, because I had them all in my head for many years. And you wonder why I was fucking homeless. That's why. You know? Seriously. I had all this junk going on in my head. Now, in my head, that was real. That was reality. And guess what? That was reality. So we're not going to go Tony Robbins now here on you, but that really is the answer. How far you believe you can take it is as far as you're going to take it. It's really that simple. You have the systems, resources, you have enough evidence around you. There's plenty of market around you. There are plenty of people who want to move. They're doing it every day. Okay, so start working on that. Start shifting those beliefs. Expand what you believe you're possible, or it's possible, or you're capable of. Cool?
Yes.
Because I tell you, 200, 300, 400, that's where the fun begins. That's where the freedom kicks in. That's where you can start investing. That's where you can really start providing for you and the people you care about. That's where the fun really starts. Yeah?
Yes.
All right. I know, I dump a lot on you, and it's a lot to process and implement. So here's what I'd like you to do. By the way, if you want, come do the boot camp with me. We're doing a next boot camp on April 20th, 2016. It's a 7-week program where everything we talked about today, lead generation funnels, follow-up systems, and presentation systems, we built together. You and I will roll up our sleeves. I take a group of 30 agents at a time. I do it 3 times a year. And we spend 7 weeks in a very intense training where rather than me telling you what to do, we're going to do it together. There's homework, there's accountability, there are partners, there's role-playing, there are assignments, there's all kinds of stuff. It's a very complex, one of the most intense trainings I've ever put together. correction. The most intense training I ever put together. But in 7 weeks, you're going to have operational systems in place. So if that's something you want to consider, let me know. We'll talk. Okay? And for those of you guys watching it as well, if you're curious, just email me. It's Borino at expiredplus.com. Borino at expiredplus.com. We'll talk. It's a great program. I really love teaching it. We are wrapping up the one we started in February, and we already got like 50 listings out of about 20-some agents. So it produces results quickly, but it's also very, very intense. So consider that. But here's my homework for you, Shauna. Here's what I would like you to do. We're going to post this video so you can rewatch it if you'd like, but you got enough. Review what we talked about today and pick 3 things you must implement right away to see the most impact on your business. What are 3 things you believe will make the biggest difference? And for you guys watching, it's the same thing. After you finish this video, we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. Pick 3 things of everything we talked about today. And be really honest, this will make the biggest impact on my bottom line. This will get me more leads faster, more money, more good clients. This will help me get to my goals faster than anything else. And then make a plan. How do I get there? What are the 3 steps I must take to get there? And same for you, Shauna. What are the 3 things and how do I get there? Be proactive. Create an action plan. Because this is all nice and dandy. We had fun today, and I know it was a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of practical stuff. And then you just go on your way and nothing changes. So to really make the changes stick, if you really want to be different and get different results and grow, immediately after we wrap up, most of you will not do this. And I know you guys. Again, I've been doing this for many years. I know how it is. Suddenly you're on Facebook. Next thing you know, you're on email. Next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night and you're going home all beat up and tired going, what the fuck? Where was the day? What happened? Yeah. I didn't get much done today. I mean, I was busy, but not much got done, right?
Yes.
Make a change. I challenge you right now. Make a change right now, this very moment. Write down the 3 things. Review the video. Replay it if you want to. And put down 3 things. And then make simple action plan. Tomorrow, I'm going to do this. Even if it just means starting tonight, I'm going to plan my day. That would be a first step. I would start there, by the way. Because not only you get more organized, but that sense of overwhelmment and stress will go away. Because you realize there's only one thing at a time I have to focus on. That's it.
Thank you, Borino.
Keep me posted, and you guys, I'm sure, are curious. If you're not on our group, please join us at Rockstars, Real Estate Rockstars on Facebook. We're going to post a URL somewhere here on the video. So you can come, and we'll challenge Shauna. First, I'm going to challenge you on post in 7 days your report. What did you find out by tracking your time? Okay? Report back in 7 days. And you guys, check it out. Go to Rockstar, see if Shauna actually did it. We're going to hold you accountable. This is the power of the group. There'll be thousands of people watching this. So that's 1. What did you learn from the exercise about tracking your time? And 2, what are the 3 things you implemented? Cool?
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, Shauna, thanks very much for being here today. Thank you guys for watching. Your Coach Borino signing off. I appreciate your time, appreciate your focus, appreciate your hard work you're doing. And I'll talk to you real soon. If you have anything, I'm just an email away. Thanks for being here today. I'll talk to you real soon. Coach Borino signing off. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody.